So Penny just got through barking, and I was telling Christy
Welcome.
I had a big dog, uh, small dog thing because I dropped Zero off at daycare, and there were these little like poodle-esque, like I guess miniature, I don't know, whatever. There was two of them in the car beside me,
No.
and like they just started like, I mean, you people talk about yapping, but there's nothing else to describe it. They were yapping,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Zero in all of Zero-ness, which sit down with me and I'll tell you all of the things that make me crazy. He just sat there and stared at these two dogs like, why are you insane? And I was like, you know what? He's not yappy. He's not that. So there's that.
I mean,
He's barky. He'll bark at you like
yes.
he's going to murder you. But like, it just was the yap. There was nothing there. They weren't
There's just
yap. They just general enthusiasm.
there's just like I understand dogs are gonna bark at things that are like within a mile of their house
Hmm.
if they're aware of it. But like when you're living in a townhouse and your neighbor opens their door and your
I
dog
guess.
loses her mind, it's like that she just opened the door. She's allowed to
No,
open her door. And you know
no,
her and you like her and you're gonna
no.
go over and say hi and be like, "Hey friend." But no, no. We're gonna act like we're being attacked by
Was it
aliens.
you? Was it you who posted the thing that was like it was like postal worker comes to door to murder me. Me being murdered. Your dog. I tried to tell you.
I tried to tell you. I told you he was evil. You wouldn't listen to me.
That's basically Zero. Zero's
Yeah.
like he barks at anyone that comes to the door because that's his job. He's
Yes.
that's what he
Same.
does.
And like
And but
it's
like
understandable.
the hilarity of me being like, no, that's our friend Sharon versus, that could be a killer. Who knows? Like, I don't know. Like, he
You
doesn't
don't
know
know.
that. He's like, I don't have face recognition. I can't, like, he's like, bare minimum smells of you and dad, and that's it. That's all I
Right.
got.
Like
So,
I mean, and I've talked to people about this before, but like I appreciate that she barks because it's a good like safety aspect and my other neighbors are always really glad. They're like, makes us feel safer
mm,
that she's so barky because no one's coming within a, good radius of this house without Penny losing every ounce of calm that she's ever had. But
I know.
like, and so I don't mind so much that like the general barking. It's just that, um,
Any sort of movement that that woman makes is,
yeah, it's just because I mean, it's very loud when she opens the door, and
yeah.
so even though she can't like, Penny can't see it or anything, it's just the loudness, and then she just, like, flips out, and I'm like, "Can we just get used to the loudness, though?"
Right. Or when you came to visit and Zero just like barked at you all the time, and I
Yeah.
was like, no, but Christy's one of the one of the nice ones, and he's like, listen, bitch, like I don't know who's
Listen,
the
I
nice
don't
one
know
or
that.
not.
No, you're fine, you're fine. No,
I wish
no,
because we've never had a
no.
true, thank God, like breaking and entering where I would freak the hell out. So he doesn't
Right.
know like the noises that would really be
I know.
associated with panic.
Hey, no.
Like I feel like if I could show him that, like do a simulation,
Right? If we could, like, if we could somehow
show true panic.
show true panic where I'd be like, "Please bark now,"
Yeah.
versus, like, again, Mela has opened her door.
Except, and I love my dog, but he is half pit bull and like half shepherd, and like the half pit bull part. If I really started making those noises, I think he'd be like, "Oh nope, see, that's I didn't sign up for that." Now, like
I I don't
bark
actually
at
wanna fight mom.
right. I don't actually want to fight these people. Like I
Yeah.
am here to alert you that things are happening, but your voice being at that pitch is making me uncomfortable. So
I
yeah,
do wish that people could see right now that I have Penny enclosed into a blanket.
she does.
She is trying really hard to escape, I just have her like swaddled.
It looks like a swaddle. She looks like Mary
She is
in
swaddled in this
a
blanket.
in
We're
a
trying
whatever,
to
except that Penny is the baby Jesus.
we're trying to make everything as like less sensory aspects.
I mean, we've talked about it on the podcast before that you cover her like a parrot,
I do. I
and then
cover
we
her like
tried it
a
for Zero one time, and he
It's
became a
like
he became a
absolutely.
velociraptor and was just like, "Ah!"
My last
No,
dog, Lizzie.
that's a little dog, big
No,
dog.
ma'am. No. Oh, it's a Penny
Oh,
thing. Cause like, no, no,
uh,
no, 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 no. You're fine.
no, no,
My last dog, Lizzie,
no.
hated being under the blanket, hated it, and like would have become a velociraptor also. And then when I was living in Scotland with Joe, she had this Staffy mix, Max. She still has him. He's still the best. Max is
No,
my
I
boy.
met him. I met him
You met
once.
him, yeah. He also loved to be under the blanket, and you could also just kind of like if he was like getting riled up, you just put the blanket on him, and he'd be like, "Oh, okay, nap time."
Well, and
So
also I think it's like, okay, my my watch has ended. Like I don't
yeah,
have to.
like, "Oh,
Whereas like,
okay,
yeah, whereas you're like, watch never ends
watch
unless
it."
things get really scary or a broom comes out, in which case the watch is over. So,
The
hey
broom
guys,
is
welcome to
evil.
Theology on the Rocks, where
It's good that
Christy
the
and I
broom is
haven't
evil.
talked
Means
in a
you can do
while,
some work.
actually.
Oh, Pan.
Oh no, she froze, which was a really opportune time to freeze. You froze right as I said we haven't talked in a while.
And I'm just like,
And then you just went silent, and I was like, and apparently we're
"Nope,
still not.
nope,
So,
nope." This whole podcast is just gonna be like randomly me being like, "No."
yeah, please, everyone knows that she's not yelling. Well, she might be yelling at me, but generally not. She's yelling at the dog.
It's not. It's just Penny. We haven't talked in a while. It's been
Like a couple days.
I
It's very
know.
upsetting. I just feel like everything has happened in the
How
meantime.
dare how
We had quite a few events on that
Yes,
required.
you've been very busy. I want to hear about your big fancy event that you had a couple
Yeah,
of nights
so we
ago.
did a
Oh, this is hey, welcome to Theology on the Rocks.
where we're drinking today.
We
We
have drinks now.
decided we're emerging, even though it is terrible outside right now in North Carolina. We're emerging from the shell that is January and the
Yep.
election, and we are trying to. I used the phrase "brat girl summer"
Yes.
to Christy, which I know
Yes.
she did not make fun of me at all in her head. And I said, get your best brat girl drink. And mine, I moved on. Taylor will be sad to know I moved on from Truly Unruly to
Oh.
White Claw Surge.
Oh, are they good?
I mean, they're still White Claw,
They're still
but
like
yeah. I mean, I don't think White Claw's going to sponsor our podcast or anything.
I mean,
Yeah, they're good. They're the kind of higher octane seltzers, but
yeah.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
way
I like.
less fun name, but you told me that and I had already poured a bunch of wine. So
Oh,
it's
that's
not
fine.
necessarily my summer drink, but it is my, like let's have a good time drink because wine. So
Because wine. I mean, you can never go wrong
wine is what we're
with
doing
wine.
again.
So the fancy dinner
Oh,
was, gosh, I'm so popular. I keep getting text messages. Why? They're mostly from Rover and from like Skiptown.
yeah.
Copyright.
Okay, so
So the big dinner was for the human rights. I don't know if it's Human Rights Council, and that little sticker that you had on all your stuff when you were in high school, that's an equal sign, like a blue
yeah.
with the yellow equal sign. Yeah,
Yes.
everyone kind of knew. And you were like, "This is cool, but I don't really know what it is." Well, now I know what it is. Come to find out, it's really important. So we have a friend who's on their like board, and so I donated some pictures, black and white photography. And here's a shout out to the Instagram if you guys want to see my photography, which is what I do when I want to not think.
Yeah.
It's at Leah Robinson Photos on Instagram. And
They're
anyway, so
great.
I
I love
donated
them.
some. Thank you, thank you. I like doing them. I think people just think I have I'm just a heartless, unhobby person. I do like to
No.
read on the beach as well, but that's a very specific activity that I'm not Christy. I can't do it all the time. But anyway, so HRC really is kind of in the background fighting the good fight on a lot of political stuff. Like basically, if you are left leaning and you posted something on Instagram, the HRC's probably tried to take it on at some stage,
Yep.
um, and or currently taking it on. And that's not to give them props beyond due, but it does seem like they're doing a lot. So for North Carolina, the big thing right now, and there was a lot of reps there from North Carolina specifically. It's there's a real. I was talking to Chris about this. There's a real tug of war with Republicans and Democrats about just the state. The
Mhm.
Republicans historically have had North Carolina, and the cities here mean that it's changing, and they really don't want to let go of it.
Yeah.
And as a result, there's a lot of corruption and
What?
rewriting of rules that we didn't know were not able to be rewritten. So we managed in this election to we talked about this elect down ticket, a
Yeah.
pretty predominant Democratic group
Yeah, which
at
is great.
governor,
Yeah.
yeah, governor and attorney general and all of that. But they're now trying and have successfully pushed through legislation because they had a supermajority um, before this new cycle, um, basically limiting the powers of these people so they can't like they just put through something that says that our attorney general Jeff Jackson, who's very very liberal and very good, that he can't challenge in court the president or try to sue the president for anything that he does in
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. And then there's this woman, Allison Riggs, who's getting was elected fairly, and they're trying to throw out votes for it and whatever. So
Yeah.
the HRC just basically like is trying to keep these people in check, and alongside a lot of the bills that that pass or don't pass, and a lot of stuff
Mhm.
related to the LGBT community and trans youth and things like that. So this whole event was for to raise money, but to also like in a way, it felt a little bit like a apology tour for some of the Democrats in North Carolina.
Okay.
You had a lot of people coming up that were leaders within the Democratic Party in North Carolina saying like, "I'm sorry, we're sorry, you know we failed you," and they didn't even say like make excuses. They were like, "We failed you. We're going to try harder. Like
Yeah.
this is what we're doing." And
Okay.
then you had this there was just so many stories, so much good stuff that just kind of it gave you a pump up tour. It was like the antithesis of the inauguration.
That's great. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
You had drag queens everywhere. I auctioned off my pictures and I made the HRC a lot of money. I mean, well, a lot of money for 4 pictures that I printed, like, and I
But
think the
that's so
whole event
great.
was great. Yeah. That's not to go on and on about that, but I did want to highlight them because
Yeah.
I think it's something that I didn't really know what they did. So if you have an HRC chapter in your state, I would encourage you to see what they're doing. And it made
Yeah.
me want to actively be a part of what they're doing.
I think
So
that's so great. And I think that one of the things that you and I talked about, not like on the last, a little, we touched on a little bit in the last episode, but like have talked about since is finding ways that we can like feel like we're helping and doing things and whatnot. And that's a really good one. Um, it's a good way like to find in your local areas and like get involved in stuff that's going on in your communities. Because there's already a lot of stuff going on and like we should find and join up with those and lend our
yeah,
support,
and
you
it,
know.
it can feel hopeless and overwhelming. And we talked about this right after the election, how we felt,
Yeah.
which was like that. And I think attending that dinner, and they were trying to raise money, so I'm not completely like blind to the motives,
Oh,
but of tugging
100%.
on the
Yeah.
heartstrings. But like,
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
but money is necessary. It's not a
it
bad thing. Yeah.
they're trying to sue the government over the birthright stuff. Like North Carolina is giving that they're giving money to that, and they can't. They have to. You have to have money to
You
do
have to
this
have
stuff,
money
and
to do anything, so, yeah.
yeah.
So
So
that's
I
great.
mean, yeah. So that was we did that, and then other things, but that was the big one, and um, we were fancy for a night.
I love that.
Which
It's so fun to, I think, um, to be able to have those moments of, like, we're gonna get it's like a good thing and you're doing, like, work with a good organization and stuff, but, like, also it's just like, we get to have a fancy night, like, this is
we do,
this is
and
fun. Yeah.
it's so fun, and I think one of the most. Someone asked me once, "What is the saddest thing that you've ever heard?" And like, of course, there's like war and genocide and like terrible things. I'm not
Obviously, yeah, yeah.
But one of the saddest things I heard that like sort of resonated with me in my place as a middle class white woman in the United States is I remember when oh, what's his name, Jack Sparrow, the
Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was doing his. You can tell I prepped for my um Johnny Depp was doing like his trial or whatever, but he talked about how much he spent on wine. I bring this up quite a lot. He spent like $30,000 on wine a month or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And it was like he talked about just being in search of like this perfect wine, and wine doesn't do what it. And I just remember thinking how sad that was. Like, I want to be comfortable and like be able to like do what I want to do, but and so does everyone else. But like the idea that things wouldn't feel special anymore
I
to
know.
me just
I,
feels so sad. I don't
I
know.
saw this somewhere once too, and it was in reference to a celebrity's wedding, and I
Mm.
honestly can't remember who it was, so we're not gonna, like, try to pinpoint it, but
You're not just gonna name
I'm
characters
not
who
gonna
play
just start
tragic.
naming like, maybe it was this one. No, I have no idea, but they were talking about how, like, celebrity weddings tend to be or, like, not tend to be, sometimes celebrities will have, like, more low-key weddings, and they don't tend to wear in these low-key ones, they don't tend to wear, like, big fancy wedding dresses, and
Mhm.
the interview I was reading was because they said, "We do this all the time for our job, and so, like, putting on a fancy dress isn't fun anymore, and it's not special in that way," and so, like and I remember
Wow.
having the same kind of sadness of, like,
Yeah.
"Your life sucks."
Right?
Um
Like, the day I put on that, no one will ever see me in a dress like that ever again, but it was magical because I don't wear that I looked
Right?
like I'd stepped out of a Disney film, like, I don't
Yeah.
wear
You
that's
well,
your
and you
day
want it
to be yeah,
that's your
and then the
day to
fact
feel like your best or at least,
yeah,
like, top, top 10 or
and
something,
you
but,
get to
like
be OTT, like, that's your day to be big
yeah,
hair, big dress, big or not, do what you want,
do
but,
what you
like
wanna do, but, like, that's the day where you get to do that, and, like,
yeah.
to
Uh,
think about all of the ways that things that I think generally we as people think, like, this is special or that is special, but they're just it's been killed for the ultra rich. And I think I also read something somewhere, and again, this was so long ago, but it was like there's a limit to how much money you can have and still maintain happiness. Because if you
ooh,
go over that, you start into this, it like starts to mess with your brain. And like, instead of being like satisfied and happy, you're just like, how do I make more? How do I make more? And I think we can see this with some of like the ultra rich, right?
yeah, I mean,
So
it's
there's
like
like
it's the
obviously a comfortable
addiction
place.
mentality, like, if you need more and more to
Yeah, like, there's a place where you have enough money where you're, like, comfortable and you're not necessarily, like, budgeting or whatever. You could do what you wanna do, but if you go too far beyond that, it's like you lose anyway, it was a whole thing about, like, where's the sweet spot in terms of how much money you should have, and I remember it wasn't as much as you thought. Like, it wasn't like you should be making, like, 500K a year or something. It was, like, 150, like, fairly reasonable, and I was like,
yeah.
that seems like, maybe we should have like I have seen a lot of conversations lately about like we have a minimum wage, we should also have a maximum wage, and I was like, that feels like maybe we need to do that.
If I didn't have such wayward feelings and Stuart wasn't what he was, I would agree, but I have to
But
I
you're
can't
not
he can't
the
have a
ultra
max.
rich. Like, Stewart's
No,
not
no, no,
anywhere.
no.
I mean, Stewart's making a good amount of money, but, like, Stewart's not anywhere near what I would say is,
No,
like, starting to become problematic. So,
no,
it's
no.
not
We
saying
get really excited when he puts on a kilt. There's, like, some sort of, like, serotonin hit to my brain where I'm like, "We're about to do something fun."
It's
So
like it's that situation too of, like, when they're talking about taxing the rich, they're not talking about taxing anyone making under, like, 100 million a year. Like,
right.
it's so much higher than you
Like,
think.
the rich are so rich. I think people don't
There's
realize
The
that.
ultra rich are so far beyond us, and that's what I'm saying, like, there should be some
No,
kind of
I do
zero.
agree with that, but again, I think that's because you and I will never hit that cap.
Never, never. I can only imagine what kind of weird life shift I would have to take to make.
Oh my gosh, same, but also, like, imagine how we'd be if we got really rich. We'd just be like
Insufferable is what we would be.
we already are-ish, but, like, we'd be even worse. Like,
We'd
we
be
would
so terrible.
like, instead of just being snobs about theology, we'd be snobs about everything.
Everything. Good lord, can you imagine? We would be the most
No.
obnoxious.
No, we'd have to and we'd secretly dislike each other very much. Like,
Oh,
now
yeah.
we just fight about football, but then we could fight about real stuff.
We'd also I feel like we would become those really eccentric rich people who have, we'd have a vendetta against each other, and so we'd, like, do all sorts of weird, crazy things to each other, like
Be like White Lotus, just like
yeah, it would become, like, almost comical. And then
yeah,
we would and then at the end of this
we should
movie that
try
we're
it out.
crafting at the end of this movie we're crafting, we'd be like, "Actually, we still really like each other, and this has just been a really funny game," but, like
We would. We would. And then we'd, like, maybe kill each other, I don't know. But
probably, yeah.
just for banter, but, like yeah, I mean, I don't so it was a weird because it's a weird world going into that, like, I put my photos up at, like, 100, which felt insane to me. Um, there were 4 of them, and then it kept going up and up and up, and I remember when it hit 200, I was like, "Who has $200 to spend on" like, I mean, they're
They're
beautiful
great.
photos.
They're beautiful
They're great,
photos.
but they're gonna go on your wall, like, they're not gonna feed a family of 4, like, and
Well,
who has but, I mean, people have that money, and, like,
yeah,
I'm very proud of what I did, but, like so don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying, I'm just saying it felt
if
like a lot of money to spend
yeah.
on that, but people
I
were
think
willing.
too, especially if it's, like, one of your first time, like, because 'cause
Yeah.
you've not sold a lot of
Uh-uh.
it's been kind of a hobby more,
Mhm.
and so I think that initial stage of, like, "Oh, this is this is a valuable thing I'm
People like it.
selling, people like this."
Also, I
But
think 'cause we make books and people don't pay 250
nobody's
for
paying $250 for our books.
which is a travesty. You get my
You know
new one,
what?
you get close, but and I don't get the money for it. Um, so in our brat girl summer, which is very dreary right now,
It is actually
we
summer in Florida. You can just everybody come down here. It's hot, it's sunny.
it's not here. It's rainy. It's rainy and Zero's upset, and I caught a cat in a cat trap today, and because we have all these cats that I'm trying to like TNR. All you cat people know what I'm talking about. Basically, get them spayed and neutered,
Yeah,
and because they're just like hanging around. I'm not trying to take them in. I'm just trying to get them
yeah.
so they don't make babies. And I kid you not, and guys, don't judge me here, but it was so disgusting. And this cat was so insane. Yeah, like it was like, ah! But I was like, I just let it out. Just let it out. Because it was like pouring rain. The TNR
You're
place
like,
doesn't
"I
open.
can't."
It doesn't open until Monday. And honestly, there's like 3 cats. I was like, I'll see you again, sir.
It's fantastic.
I'll catch you next time.
That's
Which I know is
fantastic.
not responsible, but you know what? It was so cold. It was like below freezing and just pouring rain. And I was
Oh my
like,
god.
yeah. And then the cat's just sitting there like backed up. looking at me like, imagine the worst cat you've ever interacted that's been on the inside of the house.
Mhm.
And then imagine that you caught one that you don't know in a metal cage
Oh, I
on
know.
the, in the outside realm.
Yeah. I mean, I do actually have some experience with catching cats
He
in
was
traps,
spitting.
and it is
They
always
were,
terrifying. Yeah.
yeah. And Stuart wasn't here. And I just was like, and so he goes, well, wait till I get back, which was like 7 p.m. And I was like, it's raining. Like, I can't. So I just was like, we're just going to cut our losses with this guy. Keep your, keep your balls slash ovaries for another day. Sir,
That's
ma'am.
amazing. That's
We didn't
amazing.
do it.
Well,
And
okay.
when I opened it, it flew.
Yes. Yep.
Anyway, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was gonna say, we'll pretend like it's summer for both of us because it is
Please.
summer in Florida.
Yeah,
Um,
please.
and it's
And
our brat girl summer is we're gonna be happy. This is a welcome to the happy things, guys.
yeah, we're talking about
A
we
celebration.
we're celebrating, and then we have the Grammy. We're going to talk about the Grammys. We're going to talk about the halftime show. We're going to talk about David Lynch, which for me is happy because I'm over my lament and I'm now in the
Okay.
celebration stage.
You're in the celebration stage. That's good. That's good. I
So
want
where should we start?
I want to start with David Lynch because I think
Okay.
that this it will be both entertaining and informative for me because as I told you, I have not actually seen any David Lynch films. I don't know how. I've missed out on all of them,
You
but
didn't date a film major in college,
that might be it. Yeah.
she says without any sense of irony.
um and so yeah, so like I know you and a whole amount, like it was a widespread amount of people that I know were really sad about his passing, and then we're sharing a lot of things, but I don't have really anything um concrete
Siri
knowledge
was my
wise. So
sister in this. She was posting a lot of stuff.
yeah, so tell us some
Yeah.
David Lynch
So
things.
David Lynch things. So there's going to be a lot of shout outs to Atlanta because I started watching David Lynch stuff when I was in Atlanta. And it was somewhat to do with there's this whole sort of like now I call it like if you've ever been with a film major, you are one. It's like a soup of directors, and
Yeah.
David Lynch is in them. Werner Herzog, Miyazaki. Um,
Mhm.
like there's just a group of folks that like do films that are very impressive.
Yeah.
Or and deeply disturbing as well, I should say. Harmony Korine, like if you really want to get he did Spring Breakers, which everyone is like, yay, don't that you just leave it at that. If you are
I've
a sad person, leave it at that.
I've seen that movie. That
Yeah, it I've never seen it. Is it good? I don't know.
it is. I don't know how to answer that. The one with James Franco, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
Selena Gomez and Ashley
And
Benson.
Ashley
Yeah.
Benson. And I don't even know. Was it good? Yes. I've seen it twice because sometimes you watch a movie and you're like, I have to watch this again to have an opinion because I've been in like a state, you know? And I watched it the second time and I was like, turns out that state is just the state you're going to be in. um
He
it's a
has it the
it's an
film
interesting movie. It's yeah, anyway. Yeah.
I would say Darren Aronofsky as well. Like, there's certain
Yeah.
directors where you watch their stuff. Like, I will never watch Pi or Pi, the one where Jennifer Connelly is doing all the drugs with Jared Leto. Um,
Oh,
but anyway, there's
yeah.
some directors who make films that you just don't watch again because they
Yes.
are so upsetting. And I
Yes.
would put Harmony Korine and I would put Darren Aronofsky to some degree in that. Then there's directors who make movies who you have to watch again.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
David Lynch did that. And so I started watching his stuff, yeah, from this film major, but he had this whole soup of directors and like I would I would watch some of the stuff, and David Lynch really latched on it. It latched on to me in a way, and I wanted to just consume everything that he had ever done,
Mhm.
because it was just something. It was just enough horror, enough weirdness, and enough. You're by the water cooler at the end of the day with lost stuff,
Yeah.
style stuff, and so, you know, I started watching Twin Peaks, which is the greatest TV show of all time, in my opinion. And there would be no Lost without Twin Peaks. There would be no Riverdale. There would be no any of those. But
For
anyway,
sure.
so I started watching that, and uh, we had a video store which still exists in Atlanta called Videodrome, and it was one of those like weird. They try to recreate it in Riverdale. If any of y'all have ever seen that, and it's funny because it's called Blue Velvet, which is a David Lynch film, and that's what the video store is called in
Yes.
Riverdale, and it's
Yeah.
just like that. So I
Yeah.
watched the whole of Twin Peaks on VHS
Oh,
um,
okay. Yeah.
in the early 2000s, because that's all there. Because no one, like, people watched it when it came on to the TV in the 80s,
Yep.
but then people forgot about it, and then they didn't watch it anymore. And it's television but it was a simple concept, but it was just one that no one had done. Like, I think I've talked about it, is you do a town, you do an underlying mystery, and then you make a bunch
Mhm.
of really interesting characters, and
Yeah.
they sort of work towards that mystery, but really it's all about how they're interacting and doing, it's Lost, I mean,
Right.
essentially.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that's so many shows, and we seem to think that there needs to be something else to catch you, but if the characters are good, there
Mhm.
doesn't have to be something else, like, it can just be a normal town and interesting characters, and
Yeah,
you
I
got
mean,
that.
Twin Peaks is
Yeah.
in like Washington State or something. Like, it's very placed. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it isn't an island. It isn't. It's there. They have a Twin Peaks festival every year, and you can go to where it is.
That's so
Um,
funny.
you can probably stop by Forks and go to Twilight Zone if you want. If you're up there, bring your rain jacket. But so I fell in love with David Lynch through that,
Yeah.
and also 80s commercials, because this was recorded from the TV. Someone had recorded
Oh, wow.
the TV show from the TV and put it on.
Uh-huh.
And it was a series of like 12 VHS, so you had to go back and rent and
Yep.
whatever. So then I started watching the films, and I think the films are really interesting because they force you to, one, look at stuff in a way that I would argue that kind of Harmony Korine did, which is like kind of disturbing, but it isn't too much. Like, it doesn't go too far to where, because you're always questioning what it means. Like, I think
Yeah.
some of these directors will show you like a severed head, and it's like, that's a severed head. That's exactly what the severed head is. That person's head came right off. But like with David Lynch, you see that, you're like, it's in a corner. Why is it in the corner? Why is it blue? What is it
Yes.
doing? Whose
Yeah.
head is it? Do we know where it
Yeah.
came from? So anyway, yeah, you there. Sorry, I have another cold now, and I hate everything.
Uh,
So the films are great. My favorite is Mulholland Drive. I think it's great, but
okay.
it's one of those where you end the film, and it's why I told Christy I wanted to watch that one with her. I think that one's probably the most accessible.
Okay.
And at the end, you're just like, all right, get the wine out / whatever. We're talking and you'll talk for like 5 hours on it,
Yeah.
and
I
now
love
you
that.
yeah, and it is, and I swear it probably doesn't matter who you are, because he deals with so many different themes. Like, it doesn't mean that you have to be into one X, Y, and Z for it to be the
Right.
5-hour conversation. Like,
I feel like this is the beauty of television specifically, but also
mm,
then can translate into like certain films or music or things. Um, because there's art that you know and is already like you're told it's valuable, right?
mm,
We know that the Mona Lisa is valuable. You don't actually even ever really think like, is this a piece of art I would hang in my house? Because it's already so inaccessible, you
Right.
know? But when you're talking about stuff like TV or again, like some films, music, stuff like that, uh, there's an there's a way that it creates not just a piece of art, but also that community of like
Mm,
like and we've I think we've lost this a lot with streaming. And I think like it's deeply unfortunate, but like what we used to do with Lost of every week being like what happened, let's dissect like what we all think is going on, like stuff we noticed, whatever, reading blogs on the internet talking
yeah.
about stuff or whatever.
I
But
think and that's the beauty of those kind of shows. Yeah.
I think that
Absolutely.
the thing that I love the most is when you watch something with people and you're all at the end just like, "What did I just watch?"
Mhm.
And now we have to stop and talk. Like, we're not gonna walk out of that theater and be like, "Okay, let's go for drinks and talk about whatever." We're all
Right.
gonna be like, "Okay, we have to go get a drink and talk about this movie."
Yeah.
I like that. I think that
And I think
that's,
it
like,
can
such important kind of art, you know?
100%. And I think it's funny because I hadn't thought about that until you just said it, but I do think that people oftentimes will look at directors like David Lynch and they'll be like, "Oh, well, he's just too artsy. He's just too highfalutin." Okay, is
Mhm.
that true, or have we just lost the ability to talk about things and
Yeah,
analyze them? Like, are we just so we just want these consumable
we
things
want
that
everything to be easy, and then you can forget it immediately after.
yeah.
I saw this, so I'm in, it's a subscription box, of books that I get every month. They
Ooh,
send you, like, an option, like, "Here are the 5 books you can pick from." I'm gonna shout them out because I think that it's great. It's just called Book of the Month. So you, like 1 book a month, you get a book. You can get more if you want, but you're supposed to do, like, 1 a month. They send you the options, and they tell you, like, little blurbs, and then you get your book. And this past month, the February books, one of them had a label on it called highbrow. And it was
oh,
like, "Just a warning, this book is highbrow." And I was like,
a warning.
What is happening right now? What does this mean?" I've been doing this for a couple of years, probably honestly like 3 years. I've never seen this before. What is going on? I had to go research because I was like, there's nothing on the website that tells you what this means. It's just like, this is and it says that. Just a warning, this book is highbrow. And I'm like, firstly, why are we warning people about this? Secondly, what do you mean? Um,
I think that's
and
indicative of yeah, exactly of what I
I
was saying.
finally I found a Reddit thread that it was like talking about it, and they said that apparently there were some books that were getting bad ratings because people were saying like this book is too highbrow, I can't understand it. And that they when they're reading books, they want to just not think. They want to turn their brain off and just not think. And
Okay.
as a literature person, I instantly had a whole meltdown about the state of the world and like lost my entire mind.
I think
But
that's
I think that
absolutely
this is
fair.
true for so much art, like TV and
Mhm.
movies again. And I don't think that it's necessarily wrong that sometimes we want to just watch something and like not worry about it. Like we all have our
Mhm.
comfort shows.
Yeah.
I love some really stupid movies.
Hmm.
Um there's all that kind of stuff that we don't have to think too much about,
Mhm.
but like that shouldn't be everything we consume. Like don't just eat junk food. Like,
Right.
throw some veggies in,
Yeah,
Don't
and I think
just
that maybe if influences as well how we are in the world right now. It's like
yeah,
everyone's believing insane things and or easily persuaded to sit things
yep,
that don't seem insane. And I'm like, we talk about it all the time, but we have, I think, lost the ability to critically think. And one of the things that got brought up recently was to bring it theological, is
yeah,
that JD Vance made some comment about um, uh, Thomas Aquinas of all people. I
Jeez.
wouldn't even talk about Thomas Aquinas.
How wrong was our dear old JD about Aquinas?
Oh, I mean,
Like,
just like shockingly. Okay, here's how
shockingly wrong.
this is like how bad slash influential you have to be. Is that the Pope called him out? The
I
Pope,
did see that. The Pope was like,
the
"Hey,
Pope
this
was
is
like, no.
deeply incorrect." No, but he said some I actually don't remember what is it, or I don't
He
know which
talked about
specific one.
Yeah, he
He's
talked
said a
about a
lot of shit lately.
concept of like an ordering concept. There's a Latin name that I can't remember, but it was in Summa
Oh,
Theologica.
yes.
And it was this
Yes.
idea of like how we approach our relationships with people, and that there's a divine order in how we would put people first and not.
Mhm.
And again, if you go, please go research this. I'm not a a Thomason or a
I'm
Tomatillion.
not a Thomistic scholar, yeah.
No, but the idea is that you wouldn't treat your like if your mom and even me were in the middle of the road and you had to save one. It's like that classic thing. Like, who are you gonna save?
Right.
Which, if you save your mom, Christy, it's fine. I won't get upset. But the Thomas Aquinas, really, right? It's fine. But he transferred it onto this understanding of how we treat immigrants and people in our which is that we have to it was just another way of doing America first,
Right,
basically. Like,
it's that America
you
first
put you
nonsense.
put people close to you first, and like
I think,
so the Pope
like,
was like, sure, but let's go
this
back
is
to the Bible. And I was like,
well, the
oh,
Bible, but also, like, this is not how Aquinas meant it at
mm,
all. And too, like, the notion that by loving my parents and my friends, I therefore am not supposed to care about people I don't know is wild to me. Like,
yeah.
as
This
if I
was
only have so much empathy or love. Like, this shouldn't actually be a restricted thing. It should be, but like you said, I think that a lot of the state of the world has a lot to do with the fact that we don't want to engage with stuff that's making us have to think through things a little bit more,
Yeah,
and
and
we
if we
haven't.
think about the basis for the Bible, I mean, if we go back to that, even like it is Lost, it is Twin Peaks. You have this
Yeah,
underlying mystery and a whole bunch of
yeah,
characters that we keep up with, and we analyze what they're doing and what
yep.
they're saying, and
And
it's like,
like the notion that the Bible is simple or that the Bible is
right,
clear,
yeah,
all of that is deeply, deeply incorrect and like offensive actually. I get very offended when people say, well, the Bible is simple, or like the gospel is simple, or Christianity is simple,
I'm
or
a
something like
Bible
that.
believing.
I'm a Bible believing
You
Christian,
should
which
see how many
means
times I've adjusted that on an essay. I'm a Bible
literally
believing.
nothing. And like the number of times that somebody has said to me, like, oh, well, the Bible is clear, and then said some nonsense that the Bible is very not clear about. And it's
Right.
like, just because you have a second grade reading level does not mean that I have a second grade reading level. And I am going to be insulting about that because it's stupid. It's a stupid thing to
Yeah.
say. Like,
Drop.
I don't read,
Christy is
like,
not a Sunday school teacher to
I'm
preschoolers,
there is a
apparently.
reason that I don't teach little children. Um,
They
there,
actually
like,
have they'd be like, "Ma'am, I do have a second grade reading level because I'm in second grade."
can you imagine? I have a second grade because that's how old I am. What
Because
if I
I'm
was a
that old.
kindergartner? It's
I'm
amazing
sorry.
that I have a second grade reading level, okay?
Yeah, they're like, "I can't wait till I have that."
I'm just such a jerk. No. I like well, it's like this book or like you're saying with David Lynch, like there's stuff or oh my god, I was talking about this with one of my colleagues yesterday. Do you remember the first time you saw Memento? And you
Oh,
were
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
"What
yeah.
nonsense is happening?" And then you
Right, right,
realize at
right.
the end, and then you're like, "I
Yeah,
have to watch this again because now I understand it." It's
100%.
like
That's
there's
David Lynch right there.
there's stuff that you should engage with on a deeper level. And you know what? A lot of that stuff is the stuff that we watch kind of mindlessly, and we're missing so many things because we've trained ourselves into this like anti-intellectual state. And a lot of it comes from that Christian right, that like ultra evangelical, we want you to think that the Bible is clear so you can't think about anything too deeply. Because if you
That's
think,
right.
because like if I put a lot of effort into studying The Great Gatsby, I should put 1,000 times more effort into studying the Bible. Like,
Right.
as a person who believes one should be held in more esteem, you know?
I
Like,
always 100% I use literature. Great Gatsby is a good example. I always tell students that question things about the Bible. I'm like, you think you're Bible believing, and then I'll say, what do you mean by that? What specifically? And they're like, well, the Bible. And it's like, no, if we were to have a literature class on The Great Gatsby, there would be, if there's 40 kids in here, there'd be 40 different opinions.
mhm.
And you think the Bible is any different. Now, we want this unified thought because that helps us feel better, but that's not how that works. And
Yeah.
I mean, Christy and I wouldn't have jobs if that's how that
We wouldn't
worked.
have jobs, but, like, also, I mean, honestly, so much of the world would be so worse if we thought
Mhm.
that everything was just super clear cut, because no one is. People are not simple. People are complex. How much more complex must God be? I mean, it's honestly, like I said, it's very offensive to say these kinds of things like the Bible is simple. It's one of my like
No, I think so.
biggest
And the fact that we're training people to think that is just
is
upsetting
yeah.
too. Um, and I
But
think
like
to conclude the David Lynch thing, I think that, are you what were you gonna say?
no, well I was just going to say, I mean, like, this is what I think is so important about not just talking about David Lynch in like, oh, I like his movies, but actually like really diving in and saying like, I'm going to, like you did, like I'm really going to invest time into understanding his art. I think that's what helps our brains to be capable of doing it within other things and more important things, and like, you know, not just the
Yeah,
Bible, but like philosophically about your life. You're going to be better at understanding what's going on in the world if you take the time to engage with art that you
and
like,
and
you know.
also to wrestle with the fact that it's okay if you don't understand it. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
One of his last movie, I think, actually was called Inland Empire, and
Mhm.
I went and saw it. I'm about to hipster up, Christy. Watch
I
out.
love this. I'm so
I went
excited.
to the Brooklyn Independent Film movie theater
That's the most
in
hipster
Brooklyn,
thing
New
you've
York.
ever said in your life.
I know, I know. I mentioned it once in our girls' chat, and everyone was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "I This is real. I'm telling you a real place." I think they thought I just made up some like hipster dumpster site. Um, I mean, I don't know if it exists now, but it existed in like 2007. So, but I saw Inland Empire there, and Inland Empire is sort of a series of, well, I no, I'm not even. It doesn't matter. It's complicated. I don't understand it. I was stone cold sober. It was midday when I watched it, and I'm telling you, I couldn't tell you what that. I couldn't even explain it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah,
So it's okay,
it's
but
okay.
that's also okay. Like when I
Yeah.
saw that, I was like, okay, he went a little far on that on that one.
Well, you know what else is even great about that is that like if you see something or read something that you don't understand, you can go find people and be like, "Hey,
Mhm.
I didn't understand this. Can you help me?" And again, it's good for us to say that we don't know how to interpret something. It's good for us to learn how to ask questions about people or about things like that. And then it's good for us to like learn, because you learn so many other things when you do that. Like,
Yeah,
oh, I didn't know this history, or I didn't know this thing that had inspired him, or like,
yeah. People
yeah.
wonder why I read so much about shitty theology. It's not for my funsies. Like it's not for my mental health. It's because you got to know what's happening
You have to
and
know.
I mean, that is, and we harp on about this, but I think part of the reason we harp on about critical thinking is because we're teachers and we see so much
Yeah,
of it lacking,
so
and I
much of it
think
lacking.
that's David Lynch represents to me an opening up of that world where I could think independently and had no like had to wrestle with not understanding, and
Mhm.
also I think coming from a Southern Baptist tradition did influence my love for him because I'd been handed stuff that was not easy, but is in easy form. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, people had said it's easy. This is the answer, like, blah.
Yeah.
And so with him, because it wasn't religious, there was no one giving me easy answers. I had to sit there and, like, rewatch a scene,
Yeah.
you know, and of someone staring at why is this box in a dumpster? I don't know. What does it represent? Oh God, and which I should have been doing that with theology and the Bible, but
Mhm.
instead I was given this pre-prescribed sort of thing where it
Yep.
wasn't hard, and so this was kind of my incarnation of that, and I was in seminary, which certainly corresponded because it was opening my
Yeah.
brain to that stuff, and it was really great. Of course, the great Kyle MacLachlan was introduced to us all there. Well, maybe not introduced, but he certainly was his pride and joy. And, like,
Mhm.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
just, like I said, some stuff won't make sense, and that's okay. But some stuff is, I think, really interesting, and it changed the way I thought. And there's not
Yeah.
many artists that I think that you can say
You can say
it's
like
not just.
this.
That's right. Like, do I think Lost categorically has better elements than Twin Peaks? Of course I do. I mean, it was filmed in completely different times. But,
Yeah.
like, I couldn't have watched Lost with the same brain if I had not first watched Twin Peaks, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Which is, I think, also like being able to say like I I've like leveled things, or like you can go back and rewatch Twin Peaks and maybe get more nuance out of it.
Mhm.
Like I think it's so great to be able to be introduced to an artist who can help change your life, honestly. Like this is a life-changing
Yeah.
art experience. And
And
I think
and
that's
and it shifts the whole
yeah.
I feel like it has to physically change your brain when
Yeah.
you
Like,
start,
I
like,
mean, honestly, yeah, like, I don't know anything about neuroscience, but, like, I feel like there has to be ways that this is, like, genuinely affecting and art is so like that. Like, it can,
mm,
rewire how you understand things. It can open your mind to things that you would never have experienced or even known about, or, like, make you suddenly like, "Oh, I've never thought about this thing from that perspective, and now I understand that person or that group or that argument or whatever better." And even if you're like, I still side with where I was, or if you changed your mind, it's still affecting how you can go about the next
right.
thing that
It's
you
about
know.
how you approach things and how you
Yeah.
process things, and
Yeah.
you may still be very much you don't have to lose yourself to think about things differently, and I think so. Hip hip hooray,
Yeah.
a big loss, but an impressive catalog. So if you've not
Yeah, and like
watched,
honestly, I again I haven't seen stuff, but it's not because I'm like categorically against it. I just somehow missed that boat. But I'm really excited to experience it.
I'm gonna
And
make
like,
Christy watch it when I come down to
yeah, we're gonna
St.
we're gonna
Pete.
have a David Lynch party. It's gonna be great.
Stuart's just gonna
Um,
be like, "When is MCR happening again?"
when do we need to leave for the concert?
He's like, "I'm pretty sure." And I will say, give yourself a bit of time for these films. They're not short.
They're not. That's okay. I like a good long film.
So if we shift a little bit, then R.I.P. Love him forever,
R.I.P. Love him.
forevermore.
But you know what? It's not even a shift because I feel like this is what I want to say um about the halftime show as well. Is
Mm,
that
mm,
um I've talked with a few people about the halftime show from the Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar. And one of the things that I have most appreciated about it is that it inspired me to do the same thing that you were talking about. Like, I wanted to learn more about the imagery, and I learned
mm,
more about all the different kind of nuances. And I've read multiple articles, and not on the same level that any other Super Bowl halftime show has ever really done. I think
mhm.
um, because there was a lot that I didn't know, because Black culture is not the culture I come from, and specifically LA, and he had a lot of reference in there, and
I didn't even know that was Serena Williams. I was
I will say, I know I saw her, and I was sitting here and I was texting with some of my friends, and I like all caps texted, "Is that Serena Williams?"
good for you because
And then
I think I was just trying to take it all in, and like at the end, it was kind of like a David Lynch film. I was
yeah,
like,
it
I
was.
need to unpack all of this.
It was. And like there was so much to unpack. I think somebody I saw said, when you ask, and I had forgotten about this, but he's won a Pulitzer Prize. It's
Uh-huh.
like, this is a Pulitzer Prize winning artist that you've asked to do a Super Bowl halftime show. It's not going to be the typical, like, entertaining, but not artistic, I would say. Kind of like lots of stuff going on,
Yeah.
helicopters or people swinging from the rafters or whatever. Like Left Shark from Katy Perry's is iconic, but like, would I say that that made me think deeper? No.
Right.
Like, did I
Yeah.
love that halftime show? Yes, but like not for real reason. Like nothing deep
No.
happened in that.
No,
Whereas
right,
like,
and I love the Usher one just because of all the Atlanta
yeah,
references,
like
but it doesn't mean that it's, like, the best one by any
is
means.
yeah, and like what he did was so different that
Mm,
like I understand, like, it wasn't the kind of flashy halftime show that we're used to,
yeah.
but I learned about like I learned about exactly what Samuel L. Jackson's character, Uncle Sam character, was referencing, which is like very like multi kind of dimensional. It was partly his character from Django Unchained,
Uh,
and then also referencing characters that were in older kind of black plays from
like,
segregation and from
the
this and
blackface
from
stuff.
Civil War and like slavery and stuff.
Yep, yep.
That there would always be a specific kind of, and they had a name for it, and I can't remember what it is at the moment, but like there was all this kind of black history that I learned after I watched it and went back in, and I was like, oh, see, I didn't know those things, and now I do. And this is exactly what we're talking about, though, is that like it can
Mhm.
give you more connection and information and like ideas
I feel
just
like
by
the people who
watching it.
didn't like it initially either were gonna not like it to start with because of
Yeah,
whatever, but then because of racism,
because of
not whatever.
racism. Yeah,
Not whatever, racism. Um,
very specifically racist.
yeah, very specifically race. Um, or I think, yeah, they wanted it to be something they didn't have to go and think about, like,
Hmm.
because I think you're right, it is a connection there, is the like, it we just want this sort of consumable, and he tells you and he plays with that throughout, which I did notice on first watch, is he plays with the fact that he's like, "They all wanna hear me play this song," the
Oh
Grammy
yeah, yeah,
song,
yeah.
and, they're like, and then Samuel L. Jackson comes out and is like, "Oh, Kendrick, you're just too ghetto. You're just too
Uh huh.
whatever," and like they're not. Thank you, Stuart.
Stuart bringing more alcohol.
He brought me another seltzer. He's at
Just
actual work, and I just texted seltzer, please. I
you
can show you
can't
the
take a
text.
break from your real job and bring me another seltzer.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take a
Love
screenshot and put it up. I just said it says bring me seltzer and then it said please. And then when he didn't respond after like 5 minutes, I put an exclamation mark.
it.
So
Amazing.
that's why he doesn't need a cap. But yeah, so whenever he was making those comments about, oh, they're gonna think they can't, all this stuff, I'm like, and then people came out on whatever socials and said, oh, I couldn't understand him. Oh, it was
Oh,
too
mhm.
urban. I hate the word urban. I feel like
Oh god, it's like DEI. Like, just say black. Just say you don't
right.
like black people. Just say it.
Urban. It just is
Like,
such a like, what do you
it's
mean?
it's such a crappy thing. No, I
Yeah.
also saw, this is the other thing, is that I learned about, so I don't know if you had to read or have read Uncle Tom's Cabin,
Uh-huh.
which I read that when I was in high school and I loved it. But
Did you?
as we know, a kind of stereotype of Uncle Tom
Mhm.
was that this is a black person who's trying to appeal to white people, blah blah blah.
Yep.
But apparently there was a real Uncle Tom, and so when I was watching in my kind of research of the show, and they were talking again about Samuel L. Jackson's character, they said, here's how his character kind of plays with both Uncle Toms, of like the one from the book and the real Uncle Tom. And then I learned all
Huh.
about this real Uncle Tom, who ended up founding um a like free black city up in Canada, because he escaped and like brought a bunch of people, like bought land, brought a bunch of people up, and like created this space in Canada for freed black people or escaped black people. And
Hmm.
like all this, it was just like, oh look, I have this new wealth of information from the Super Bowl halftime show.
I
How
mean, there and that's the thing is that you watch it and I'm like, didn't know it was Serena Williams. Knew there was social commentary happening. Definitely noticed the revolution will not be televised,
mhm,
of course.
loved that.
Which did you hear Fox News? This was on Reddit, and I would investigate it further. But they changed the subtitles to
I,
you pick the right guy, but the wrong time instead of the wrong guy at the right time.
what I mean, not that we're surprised at all, but
Now that's on Reddit, and I'm not claiming
yeah.
that that's truth, but
I
they did have a screenshot of it, and someone screen it. That's what it looked like to me, but
I mean, there
it was
was a significant amount of obvious kind of
yeah,
political commentary.
there was
Squid Game being referenced, I thought was really kind of a fascinating, like,
yeah,
hey,
and
this is
the
the time we're in.
yeah yeah. I
Um,
mean, if you just needed Samuel L. Jackson to be Uncle Sam for it to be known that there was some
right.
underlying
You
message
know what?
happening.
I also learned about Samuel L. Jackson. Do you know that Samuel L. Jackson in college, he was at Morehouse College,
Ooh,
and
shout out to Atlanta.
he and a bunch of other students, because at the time, even though it's an HBCU, most of its leadership were white men,
Mm.
and they ended up kind of, and I'm not going to say this correctly, but they kind of um, trapped some of the leadership and the directors, and one of the people that they had trapped in a room was Martin Luther King Sr.,
Oh no! Oh
MLK Jr.'s
no!
dad.
Yeah.
Um, and they like basically were fighting for certain rights at the college. So Jackson's got this like long history of protest and like fighting for rights and stuff.
What a
Um,
badass.
I know. I was like, look at, I mean, truly, all of these things that I learned. Um,
From
and
a halftime show. What
from
was
a
it like?
halftime show, and we
2 minutes
get
or something?
the most iconic screenshot or meme of all, when he said "Say Drake" and then smiled directly at the camera, and I think that was
I
just
I saw a comedian talking about the like Drake. I needed it explained. It's
was it the Joshua uh what,
yes,
yes, it's the 27-minute
yes,
explanation for white people.
yes.
It's fantastic. Yes.
We'll post it. Yes,
Readers, listeners, if you're not up to date on the Drake
he does it
Kendrick,
so well and so funny.
it's the best recap I have ever seen of anything,
Okay, I'm
really.
so. Of course
But
you've
yeah,
seen it because I liked it. Of course you have.
he's one of my faves.
Oh my god, it's so good, and it's really geared towards white people, even though he's not white.
Well, no, because
So
he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna help you all out." And
he does. He makes
I appreciate
every
that.
every
I do, I
every time
appreciate
there's a rapper, he's like, okay, y'all, this one guy, he's like, sir, that's a rapper, just so you know. Which honestly was helpful. I'm not gonna
I mean,
lie.
honestly, I like Kendrick Lamar a lot, and I will say the other thing that I enjoyed that I think was not necessarily, like, universal, was that it was mostly his new album. I
Mm,
did want there to be a couple more old hits, um, but I understand the point of the songs that he did.
yeah, I think he was trying to
There
tell
was
a
there was a
message.
bigger picture than just, like, playing
Yeah.
hits, so I get it, but
And it was he was a you and I both have talked about our love of Kendrick, so it's not like new news, but like it was a weird choice in a way.
it was a
Like,
surprising choice, I think. I
yeah, I
don't
don't mean weird as in strange. Well, no,
Yeah,
I mean weird as in strange, not weird as in bad. Like,
yeah.
I'm surprised that a bunch of presumably white old men got together in a room and were like, you know what,
You know who we should have for our
we
halftime
should have
shows
for the halftime show
is Kendrick Lamar, and
right.
let's make him be the solo artist too, because it's the
No,
first time I've
because he
seen
was already
a solo
he
rap artist on the halftime show, and so like it's
because he was
so
on with the other like the West Coast guys. He did like
yeah,
a
he
little
was on
section.
with them,
Yeah.
that which is arguably I think my favorite halftime show ever, but
Oh,
that's for
that
entirely
to
different
me
reasons
is
as
my
well.
favorite, I would say.
I mean, I don't know how to like for millennials, I don't know how you top that.
Right.
But
Well, you said Rihanna, and I said I love Rihanna. Like
I really liked Rihanna's show.
I
I
could watch Be Better Have Bitch Better Have My like
I
she
could
is so
watch her.
badass in that video, but she didn't move.
Well, she was very pregnant.
She was
But
it
I
was
also I feel like because I was talking with somebody about that halftime show as well, and again, I think that it was a preference thing. Like I don't really like the ones where there's just too much going on.
yeah.
It's overwhelming to me,
She didn't
and then
like
I feel
Lady
like
Gaga jumping from the ceiling.
Lady Gaga jumping from the thing. Like I just was like, but I don't. What is happening? Like I think that's just a bit much for me. This is
No, I
the
think so.
preference thing.
I think
So,
there's
like,
an
I
in
really
I think
liked
there's an in between.
I think that Rihanna's the 2 things I liked the most, one was that it was like we got a little mini Rihanna concert that we're never gonna get again, right? Because we all
Yeah,
know that she's done with
she's
music.
a bazillionaire. She doesn't need to.
But also the sign language interpreter for Rihanna was so amazing,
I
and
don't think I saw that part.
you have to rewatch it.
She probably moved more than Rihanna moved.
She was fantastic. The ASL person for Kendrick was also good, but I haven't seen as much. But like I've seen basically the entirety of the halftime show by the sign language woman,
Amazing.
and it's worth watching. Like even if you don't know ASL, which I only know like minimal things, but
Same,
it's
same.
super fun. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
if so you were a big fan and you did the deep dive.
I did the deep dive, and I think it's worth doing the deep dive because you come away with like they talked about like the costumes, like people have talked
Mm.
about all of the different groups that he had. Again, I learned more about Serena Williams, and like, do you know that she crip walked at Wimbledon and almost got thrown
Oh
out?
no. Oh no, I was shaking yes to Crip Walk, and I had to find out what Crip Walk was because. And then
um,
they were like, "Did you know she did that?" And I was like, first of all, I didn't know it was her. Second of all, I didn't know that what that was."
yep.
Uh,
She
yeah.
crip walked at Wimbledon a long time ago and almost got thrown out, and so it was like
I'm
another.
surprised anyone in London, England knew what a Crip Walk
Oh, I
was.
know, right? I The fact that anyone was able to recognize it is shocking to me.
I lived in Atlanta and certainly had no but I guess we wouldn't because we wouldn't do that, right?
I was gonna
Is it
say
a
that's
West
not.
Coast thing?
It's a West Coast thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how far the Bloods and the Crips go in the country, but I don't think that Atlanta is a big
I
hotspot.
did appreciate that Josh comedian being like, "I hope we don't end up like the '90s again." Like,
Same. I also don't. You know,
mentioning Bloods and Crips, I was like, I hope we don't. And I agreed with him on that. Like he was being genuine. I hope it doesn't get that far.
yes, I do too. I went to a this is a good throwback as well. I went to a Coolio concert.
Oh, yes, you did.
Um,
Yeah, you did.
it was actually an I Love the 90s concert, and it was
Wow.
7 years ago. I think it was about
Whoa.
7 years ago.
That was
And
fun.
Coolio was there as well as All for One. Do you remember All for One?
Yep, I do. I mean, I
And
can't tell
Mark,
you a single song, but I remember the four being there.
yep, Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray.
Oh God,
Uh,
no, no.
and anyway, but Coolio got up and he was doing his set, and he went on a very long, very confusing kind of tangent about um, the East Coast, West Coast, Biggie versus Tupac
Mm.
thing. And like, was like, this is the worst, and like we need to stop these kinds of wars, and like,
Oh, good for him.
but was like really talking as if the Biggie Tupac thing was still very much happening, which for the majority
Oh,
white audience that was at this, we were all like, isn't that over? It's very
well,
confusing.
I mean, they're not alive. So
I mean, those two are not, no.
the whole, I get what you're saying, like the whole, yeah.
Like, but like the whole thing, and we were like,
It was a
is that
cultural
beef?
zeitgeist, though, at the time. I mean, it was a thing.
It
We
was a
were that
big
age.
thing. So it was slightly confusing for us, but like it was a reminder that this was not like, I mean, I think because it's kind of removed from you and I, we were not old
Yeah.
enough to really understand it. And so I think it was a good reminder for me, like that this was a really terrible thing that happened.
Yeah.
So no, I don't want that to happen again. I don't want us
So
to get
because
back
of
into that.
time, I'm going to ask you one question. Penny has
Yeah.
emerged.
Penny is out
She
of the
looks,
blanket.
she's more sedated though now.
She is.
Um,
She had a good snooze.
your favorite performance, since we're not going to be able to go deep dive, favorite performance at the Grammys and why?
Uh, Favorite performance of the Grammys.
Or
That's
favorite,
hard.
I'll give you favorite win as well. Someone who won and why.
Okay. I would say I'm gonna say a favorite performance and a favorite win.
That wasn't the rule. You're so, you're
I'm
bad
I
at
am
this.
I am the youngest child and I get to
She's,
adjust as
she did. I saw that in the last podcast we did with Ryan, and I was like, "No, Christy, you have to pick one. You only have 45
um
hours. You have to pick one."
okay, so my favorite win was Dochi
Mm,
because she was so excited and it
was
was really cute. Like it was a sweet kind of win. I was happy for Beyonce, but Beyonce is the most reserved human being in the world, so like watching it is not that exciting. But
I did like her
um
reaction. That's now become a meme when she won.
oh yeah, when she won country, that was pretty
Yeah,
I was
she was
like,
like, "Oh," and it was like
"Oh?"
someone put
Um
it's all of us in 2025 because she's just like,
like, "Oh,
"Oh
oh,
gosh,
oh."
what's happening? What's happening?" And I'm like, "Yep,
Um
fair."
my favorite performance was actually uh the I'm trying to remember. You know how it was like a bunch of LA themed songs?
Mhm,
Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars sang
mhm.
something, and I can't remember what it was that they
All
sang.
all the
Yes, that's it.
leaves are brown in the sky.
Look, if you wanna know, like, the way to my heart, it's anything '70s related, '60s, '70s related, and they had, like, the whole aesthetic going on, and then they
Mm.
sang that song, and I was just like, "This is this is fantastic." So, that was my favorite performance. What about you?
Well, I'm gonna do 5 performances and 2 wins. My favorite, I've already talked about this with you, but my favorite performance was Chapel Roan by far.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Um,
Yeah.
I think you know,
I like the
I
audience
had
being into
heard
it.
that song because I go to bars, but I, like, had not really heard
I
her
like how
talk
you
about her.
said you go to bars, like, I don't go to bars, though. It's
That is an only child interpretation of the words I said. Or sorry, youngest child, not only child. No, I'm saying I go to bar where else am I gonna hear
Yes,
these
it's true.
songs?
No, I mean, I get it. You're just like, "I go to bars."
I go
I
to bars. I leave
I
Christy at home. I'm 21, guys. Watch out. So yeah, I'd heard her song in the bars. But to hear her background, and there was another interview that I saw with her mom, who just sounds like my mom. And there was some sort of I swear to God, when she sings that line at the end where she's like, you may have thought I left you, but I can still hear every Saturday. I can hear your southern drawl 1,000 miles
Oh,
away.
yeah.
If I had
Yeah.
been in Scotland, Christy, I would have
Oh, I can picture it
broken.
now.
It would have broken me. Like I would
Yeah.
have broke down. And
I
anytime
can
anyone
picture it.
asks, anytime anyone asks why I came back home, from Scotland, I'm gonna just reference that line, and you can deal with it as you will.
Yep.
Um, but I just thought it was also just really cool because, like, the song is great and like
Mhm.
very poppy and whatever, but also just like this idea of sort of finding yourself and like it doesn't even I don't even care if she was from Mars, it wouldn't matter. Like, I like the fact that she references like the South, but also I think more importantly is this idea of, me and you did this. You left home and you found yourself and like you kind
Mhm.
of maybe wasn't in a pink pony club, but was at, Glasgow University or whatever.
They
And,
say it sure was at Curlers, you know?
right. And we changed and we found
Yeah.
different ways of, and I just, but the fact that you always still feel that tie to
Yeah.
home and like that you never forget that it's just that. So that to me just hit the right spot. But I'm telling you, if I'd heard it, like I said, when I was in Scotland, no, I would be in a corner still
Yeah.
somewhere. Um, my favorite win, I will say, I did like. I I have an I like country music. Christy is not a huge fan of contemporary country music, I should say.
Correct, yes,
Right.
contemporary country music now, but
You like your 90s stuff.
I like the
So,
'90s and the old school.
I have a deep love of Casey Musgraves. So, and
Okay.
she put out a really good album.
Okay.
Now, is it Beyonce level? Like, again, I don't know how they choose this stuff. Like, clearly not in the
Yeah.
whole like cultural thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, so I just want to put that flag in the stand. She has a song called The Architect, which we'll also put up, which is a great theological song. It's really interesting.
Okay.
Because she borders on like kind of being an atheist and being Christian, but also smoking weed with Willie Nelson, and she's just sort of an interesting character.
That's the dream,
Point being,
honestly.
yeah, I mean, she's kind of a modern country, but
How do
anyway,
I
when
figure out how to smoke weed with Willie Nelson? I mean, that
I mean, no,
but yes,
honestly, I don't even like smoking, but I would do it because you
I would
have
do it.
to at
You
that
have
stage. I
to.
mean,
Yeah.
guys, we're not encouraging you to do illegal activities, but we would encourage that. So,
It's legal in
um,
Colorado, just join us there.
or seltzers apparently in North Carolina.
In North Carolina, yeah.
Until North Carolina until they figure out what's happening. They've just forgotten all the rest of the stuff we're doing. They're too busy with, big things. So, but when Beyonce won Country Album of the Year,
Mhm.
people have thoughts about that. I'm here to listen to them. I have my own opinions. We can go into that later. But I will say I love the interaction between her and Taylor Swift. It felt so full circle to me.
It did,
Um,
yeah.
because like she gave her that award and like I honestly felt like Taylor Swift was a little hesitant, like she didn't really know what to do in the midst of that. Not because she didn't think she deserved it, but I think because of the whole background, like she's been
I
PR'd
do
to death
think
about it.
yeah. I think that Taylor and I wanna give props to Taylor for this, it did feel like she was trying to let Beyoncé have the whole
Mhm.
spotlight, and
Mhm.
so she was, like, backing off, and Beyoncé, like, was like,
She
"No,
was like, "Bring
like,
her back in."
bring you back in," you know, and I really love that the 2 of them are friends. I think there's a lot of
100%.
evidence that they're friends, but I think it's, like, a really it's a lovely thing to see
It was
the
a
2 of them.
lovely thing to, and I agree with
Yeah,
everything you just said. I think
yeah.
Taylor was trying to be like, "Here's your award. I don't want to be an
Mhm.
asshole that shall not be named," like the way that it
Yep,
was to me here. And here's your time. And Beyonce, to all her credit, was like, "No, girl, come in here.
yeah.
We are not the problem.
Yeah, exactly,
Like you
exactly.
and I are not the issue here.
The 2
Like
of them are not the issue.
we're both queens. Like
Yeah,
stop. Like we are doing our thing. Like and you saw it too when Beyonce won Album of the Year. Like Taylor was like,
mhm.
"Yay!" And also, it's like, why are you panning to Billie Eilish? Why are you panning to Taylor Swift? Like you didn't pan to Kendrick Lamar with your camera when he lost or whoever lost. It's like,
Right.
why are you wanting these women to be
Why are
mad
you
at each
trying to
other?
pit women against each other
Why are you
when
trying to
we're
pit?
not?
And I thought that was a great moment for them. Is like
Yeah,
they were up there, and also always appreciate Beyonce. By the way, when she won after Taylor had won her like first Grammy or first no, it
she
was a
brought her back
movement.
up.
She
Yeah,
brought her back out,
yep.
and I think from that moment, that solidified something, and it was like, and I think she was trying to do the same grace to Beyonce in that moment,
Mhm.
and Beyonce was like, "Nah, we're not the issue. This
Yeah,
is
I
not."
agree.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I appreciated so much about both of Beyonce's wins, like I said, she's a pretty reserved person, so she's not gonna
Mhm.
emote on stage, like, which is fine. Do your, everybody has their own way of doing that, but
Yeah.
um I really did like watching how much she obviously also, like, she brought Taylor back in for the hug. Um when they did pan to the other people, you saw how happy they were for
Oh my
her. Like,
gosh.
you
Thrilled.
just you kind of got a good sense of, like, a lot of the drama that we put on these women is does not exist for them.
Mhm.
It is drama that we put there unnecessarily, and I
I
thought
agree, and
that
it's
was,
like,
like,
they
on
had this
display.
picture that was, like, on, like, some website, and it was like, "Miley Cyrus ignores Taylor Swift." Miley
Oh,
Cyrus was having a conversation with people at her table, and Taylor Swift was, like, over there. It'd be
yeah.
like you taking a picture of you and I being like, "They're fighting," because we were just not in the same circle of conversation. Like, maybe they are fighting, but they weren't, like,
They
actively
weren't
fighting in that
they weren't
pit.
actively fighting, and also, yeah, like, honestly, there is no reason to believe that they're fighting. Like,
It's just, I think, and I will say, we spent half of this talking about that fight between Kendrick and um, Drake. It's like, maybe this is part of the fuel of the interest, and I don't know.
absolutely. But, like, quick point of Kendrick's feud with Drake seems to be, like, predicated on Drake also having some very serious problems.
I
So
know when he started saying stuff, I was like, my Google was like, "Is this real?" Oh,
like,
what have you, Drake? What have you been
uh
doing? I know, like,
like,
one.
there's a
I
reason
know,
we're all screaming A minor, and it is not the key. So, like,
right, and I just was like,
you know,
oh, because I know like
Drake
one song of Drake, so.
Kendrick and Drake can have that fight. I think that's a fight we can get on board with.
Yeah,
I
and I
do.
like that the girls are like, "Nah, we're good. We've
Yeah,
we've
the
done that."
girls being, because the fight between the girls seems to just be that only one girl gets to be good, right? And this is something that you and I know well, and we'll talk about someday.
Yeah.
But,
Mhm.
like, this, that women are inherently catty, or that we're inherently going to fight each other, is not real and doesn't
No,
need to be perpetuated. But that
no.
doesn't mean that
It's
beefs can't exist, and beefs can exist and be for good
I'll just
reason
sort
for
of
other.
comment, he's like, "So it's basically the women up for best album of the year and,
Yes.
like, Kendrick."
And
Basically, and I
Kendrick.
was like,
I mean,
yeah, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty
yeah.
much."
Yeah. Well, I love all of this. Again, I'm excited to see David Lynch stuff with you and
Mhm.
to,
We're gonna have a great summer. I'm gonna see you
yep.
at some point, but also I wanna come in the
We're,
summer, and hopefully you can come. We have a new flight that comes from Charlotte to Tampa. I sent
we
you that.
do. And guys,
Was
like, one of these days, we're gonna do some kind of, when we get our shit together, we're gonna do some kind of, like, live
Oh,
podcast.
we talked about this, and
We've
we would
talked
love
about
to hear
this.
your interest. Can I go ahead and talk about what we talked about?
Yeah.
That we were talking about doing a book, a band book Patreon thing, because we don't do Patreon, and but like having a book club for band
Hmm.
book, and because Chrissy and I both are, she's a real lit major, and I'm like a fake lit major,
Yep.
um, so
We're
like
all
it would
lit majors
be,
in our hearts.
we're all David Lynch in our hearts, but I think we want to know if you're interested in that.
Yeah.
Honestly, you and I could probably just have a book club by ourselves too. Like if no one else
Probably.
showed up, we would
We
still
could
do
do
it.
it we could do it ourselves, but we are inviting you all into the
Yeah, yeah,
fold.
it'd be
So,
great. It'd be super
so
fun.
yeah, let us know via comments or messages or what have you, if you'd be interested in the band book club. And we'll start setting that up, and then, yeah, we've got other fun stuff on the horizon as well. But Leah and I are excited to be in the same city again as much as possible this summer when we
No,
have
that's the
time.
goal. Our brat
'Cause we're
girl
not
summer
traveling to
was,
Europe this summer. So.
oh my god. It I felt such a sense of relief Like, I was looking at the conferences I, quote, had to go to, and I was like, "You know what, though? I don't have to go to Europe." And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Like,
Like,
I love
that
my
really
Europe I love my
that took
Europe
it out of me.
people. It was a great trip. I'm forever grateful I got to do it, but, like,
It made me wanna never leave my house again, and
whew,
I hate being in my house, so,
we were real tired after that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, my sinuses are
Um,
exploding, so I'm gonna
yep.
say,
Also, my dog
"Here's
is on the
to
verge. Here's
our
to art.
summers.
Here's to art
Here's
in
to
our
art
summers.
and our summer.
And
Go
and
Ducks."
I have a Dr. Whaley mug.
Christy is in no way aggravated at me telling her how many Georgia Bulldogs are on the Philadelphia Eagles team.
Ooh, here's to the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Super Bowl champions because I
One thing
laughed
we
and I
can both
cheered and I
agree
laughed so much. It was a
we can
great
both
game.
agree. Yeah.
It was a great game. All right. See
You're
y'all
you're
next
welcome.
week.
Hey, you're welcome, NFL. Goodbye.
Bye. Woo.